Hi everybody, on here, and as you can see, I finally made it outside. After all of this time, it's gotten warm here in Maine. It's beautiful, and you can probably hear the wonderful creek in the background of everything. So I wanted to bring this month's video to you, and I think I'm going to be a little bit shorter this week. I will do a little bit of a meditation at the end of it. I did not bring any singing bowls out with me this time because I just figured the sound of the creek was going to be really nice, and it was just going to be a really great thing to have that and to use that instead of a singing bowl this time around. So that, and it's been absolutely crazy hectic trying to get the 2021 book out. So anyways, I thought this month there's a really interesting thing. I've had a lot of people come to me this month, actually over the last week in particular, talking about how drained out they feel. And most of these people are healers. Most of these people are people that hold their energy really well, and yet they're still feeling this drain. They're still feeling this aspect of, I don't want to say heaviness so much, but just things are taking a lot of energy. It's taking a lot of energy for them to go through day by day. So I wanted to address that because it really plays into a lot of codes that we have going on right now that are connected to adventures and experiences and are connected to death and rebirth right now. And our world right now is under this huge death and rebirth pattern that's going on. We're in major times, and if you're following the book, you understand that we are in a huge 4 to 5 year period that is highly transformational, highly about getting our lessons, highly about making breakthroughs on things. And so death really is the success. Death really is the aspect or the cycle of life that is a completion. It's about success. It's about where we've done the work and the results are there, and we've gotten through things. And rebirth is actually an energy that is connected in wisdom. So it's very interesting that we move from this completion and this success right into the aspect of wisdom, divine wisdom, knowing the wise choices, so to say, to make. Being in a place of an open mind that can look at things objectively, that can look at things from a perspective of accepting them for what they are, knowing what to do. And this bodes well for success. And I'm sorry I'm waving here. I got mosquitoes out here like crazy. But it is about knowing the success. It's knowing that the choices made in wisdom will lead to success. And I love this about the rebirth and the death energy. And it really is this huge spiritual shift. It's really a huge shift that is set in divine presence, which is incredible and amazing. And that in and of itself is really powerful. It's really, it's an aspect where we temporarily become very and completely connected with our soul self and with divine energy. So at that transitional point where we make that transition from death into rebirth, we are in full soul connection. And it's a powerful place. We can get this through music, we can get through this through something that we're doing, we can get this through something that we've been working on that we complete, we can get this through things like moves, moving locations, moving places. And so in that aspect, I think that's really cool to consider when we go through these death and rebirth cycles, that we really want to honor those little pieces of time before we get busy, say, in that new environment or at that new job or whatever new project that we're taking on, things like that. That it's very important that we take the time to honor that pause, because that is a full connection space. And it's an exciting space. It's a great space to be in and to honor. So within that, and you heard me bring up aspects of adventures and experiences, and this is very, very important right now because we have a lot of creative energy in the codes, and part of staying in our soul self is all about trying new things. It's all about doing new things. It's all about going into this aspect of staying awake, staying alert, staying alive. And to do that, it's experiences. For us to really learn things, experiences become very, very critical. Adventures become critical because this wakes up everything within us. It wakes up our soul self. It wakes up our aspects of every sense that we have in our body. It restores our mind. It gets our mind functioning in a way that is aligned with our soul. It restructures things that have been inhibiting us. So experiences are really, really powerful. And when we look at this energy and we look at it in regards to codes, so an experience by the code energy, what we're looking at here is a piece of responsibility to ourselves. It's a piece of allowing ourselves to reset our mind so that we can think clearly and so that we can make choices without being influenced. When we look at experiences in a multiple aspect, a plural aspect, what we find that the experiences are based in, it's a way for ourselves to kind of be an expression. It's a way for us to personally express ourselves. It's a way for us to connect more with who we are and what's important to us. So that is so critical to being in this world. That is so critical to being a part of taking care of ourselves in this world. Then we get into adventure and adventures. And when we look at the aspect of adventure on a singular level, what adventures do is they will tend to, through the code perspective, help us to break our lies. They will help us to get to the truth of things. And so this is why a lot of times we talk about, right, like a shamanic journey or something like that. And that's really sort of an adventure, right? Because we have to call out the lies within ourselves which hold us back. We have to call out the lies and the pieces where we're not operating maybe integrity, or we put up a block and said, oh, I can't do this, when in reality you can, but until you take that adventure, you don't tend to stretch your limits. You don't tend to push yourself a little bit to get that new experience, to give yourself the experience that actually reprograms that lie. And when we put it into plural and we go and we're getting multiple adventures in our life and we're living more in adventure, so we have more than just one adventure that we've taken, and we're doing that, say you take a weekend and you have multiple adventures going on in it, that's where we step into command in our life. So this is actually a way that helps us to come back into command, back into being in that place that we can have an influence. And this isn't about controlling others or telling others what to do or having an influence even over others, even though when we step into this energy pattern, we definitely will influence others. But it is an aspect of really just influencing the direction our life is going. And as long as we are surrounding ourselves with wisdom, then we will have a beautiful command of our life. We will be able to have an influence of things around us and within us. We'll be able to influence the circumstances and the experiences that we are having. So that's really powerful. Now, journey is another piece that plays into this, and of course the code journey, and that is an ongoing piece. It fits right into the death and rebirth cycles. And the journey piece of things is about divine self. So when we stop worrying about a destination, when we let go of our attachments to things, then we're on journey, because we're in exploration. We are at a point of being open, we're receptive, we're paying attention to things without overthinking them, without having to analyze them. We're simply experiencing them and being a part, and it's ongoing. It's a never ending. It's not like there's a beginning and an end so much. It's a constant ongoing piece within our life. So it's about divine alignment. So when we operate in this aspect of journey, we are really stepping into a divine alignment. Now, the reason this is so powerful right now is because when we're dealing with an aspect of drain in our life, okay, and drain in the aspect of codes is all about turbulence, crisis, drama, trauma. Anybody relate to that? Anybody think we've had any of that going on in our life lately? So this is an aspect that is very easy for people to get lost in what's happening. It's very easy for them to get swept up and absorbed. And so when we look at drain, what is happening is oftentimes, like right now, this is happening for a lot of light workers and healers and people. They're experiencing this because not so much of other people, as much as it is they are holding the calm center space. And they are the ones that are being there for all the people that are in these crises and this drama and this trauma. And that can really wear on people. It's not so much that it's even exhaustion or being tired. It's just the energy it's at a point that it just wants to make a shift. And what's important is when we're in this drain space, because it's kind of like this little, it's like the eye of the storm, you know, you're in this little place and everything's whirling around you and crazy and hectic. But then at the same time, if you're centered, you're able to hold your power. You're able to actually be given the power and the influence. So when we look at this, that means that when you're doing this and you're holding in that center, you're holding the calm center, that yes, we've got a lot going on, and this is why we're feeling the drain. But it also means that we have the power to influence things. It means that we need to use our voice. It means that we need to be willing to shake things up a little bit. We need to be willing to try new things. We need to be able to be in exploration to fully handle drain. And it is through the experiences, through the journeys, through the adventures that we get, that we actually end up removing the drain. And this is really important, again, for especially the people that are doing healing work and light workers out there, and they're standing in support of people as our world is going through all these transformations and changes. So it's important to take a look and say, okay, I gotta go have some adventure time. Because when you're holding all of this energy, and it's not so much that you're keeping it within you or holding it within you, as much as it is, there's just a lot of demand on you right now. So just like when there's a storm, right, that goes through an area and there's a crisis and the tornado whips through and it's destroying everything, the same kind of concept there. It takes a lot of energy to deal with that. It takes a lot of being present for that. And most of the time we stay so busy, and people are staying so busy, that they're giving too much of themselves. They're giving so much of themselves that they're not creating the balance. They're not creating the adventures. They're not getting new and fresh information in their heads. And so the encouragement with these code influences makes it really, really important for us to, again, go out and try something new. It doesn't matter whether you try a new food, a new dish, whether you go to a new place to be, whether you get out of town and explore a new city that you've not been in before. It doesn't really matter what the new thing is. Maybe it's a new yoga pose. It could be anything, okay? A new combination of flavors or spices or seasonings in your food. It doesn't matter. But just always implementing something new. Maybe you walk instead of drive. Maybe you go a different route than you would normally do. You jog 3 or 4 blocks out of your way to give yourself something new to see. these are the things. It doesn't have to be big things. It can be small things, but we have to be very, very attentive right now that we are giving ourselves experiences, that we're giving ourselves adventure, that we're giving ourselves journey, because this is how we are going to move through the drain. The drain happens because we've been too focused on the trauma, too focused on the drama, too focused on the whirlwind events that are happening around us, the uncertainty, the sense of not feeling safe. And so we learn that we really are okay when we get into this adventure. So I want to encourage all of it. That's my main thing this week. Like I said, not taking huge amounts of time, but now I want to go into just some meditation time for you, just some quiet time listening to the stream. And I am actually gonna probably just see if I can tilt this. There we go, like that. And I'm gonna stand off to the side so you get this nice view up the creek there. And take a moment. Let's just breathe on this. Let's just breathe. Let yourself enjoy the sound of the water. So we know that water brings us back into our soul self. Water restores us from the material world. And now I want you to tune in for just a moment about any of the trauma, the drama, anything that has been really super intense for you. And I want you to tune in to any of the emotions. It could be anything from feelings of guilt, anything that might be coming up for you. Any aspects of anger you have, hurt or pain. And why it's important we don't dwell in these emotions. I do want you to be aware of them, and I want you to know them. Because if we don't acknowledge them, it's very hard to let them move out. So as you're tuning into this, I want you to take a moment to just breathe into that. And to ask, just say, you know what, I forgive myself for getting wrapped up in these emotions. I forgive myself for getting caught up in turmoil. And this is a door that I choose now to close. And I do not choose, accept, or allow the destructive or negative energies that interfere with my life as a result of allowing this pain to remain with me. I don't accept it. I'm shutting the door. And instead, I choose to be fully aligned. I choose divine presence. I choose to stand free in the light. I choose God and divine presence. And all of these negative things that lock and open the door for turbulence and destructive aspects to be in my life are now shut. It's not welcome. I am one with the God presence, the God energy. And tune in to where your energy is at. Hopefully it is feeling a bit clearer, a bit freer, a bit easier. Hopefully it pulls some of the heaviness out. And let yourself gradually come back and to take the time that you need. Reawakening your connection with your body. You know, we forget these simple things of just when the turmoil comes up and when the turbulence arises and when we're feeling the drain, that we are oftentimes unconsciously allowing in the negative energy. We're giving it a portal to exist, grow, and thrive in. And now it is time to say no to that. And to say it's not invited. I didn't agree to it. I don't agree to it. And to bring ourselves back into alignment. And as you can see, that only takes minutes to do. Doesn't take very long. So I encourage you, get out over the next month. Try at least one new thing. Explore. Be adventurous. Give yourself the breaks so that you can restore in these times that are demanding so much energy to get through. I want to thank you for your time, everybody. Take care, and I will see you next week. Next week. Not next week, next month. And I hope you have a really, really wonderful month. Keep working with the codes, keep on your journey. And, you know, I'm still looking forward to bringing the 2021 book to you soon. It's been a lot of work. It's taken me through some intense things, and I'm excited to share it with you in a couple of months. So it's going to be great. Hopefully I'll be able to get outside more again over the next couple of months as well while the weather is good. And if you want to check out more of my work, you can do so at connectingcodes.com. Not connectingcodes.com, excuse me, at compassioncodes.com. And then for those of you that want to delve more into the world events and what's happening in the world and how the codes are connecting with what's happening through everything that we're experiencing, feel free to check out my other YouTube channel, which is connectingcodes.com. Oh God, not connectingcodes.com. Anyways, YouTube. And it's Connecting Codes is the other channel. The website is compassioncodes.com. Man, it's been a long day, a long weekend. Take care, everybody. I'll see you in a month.